Stop biting your tongue. Stop hiding behind masks and perceptions and ideas and things of that nature. Be real. Unfilter yourself.
Why can't that be keeping it real?
Yo, what's up, everybody? This is me, Uncle Kev, and this is B, because the soul needs the soundtrack, episode 4. Four. We 4 episodes in, guys, and I'm extremely excited about today's conversation. But I think I'm more hype. I'm going to use a Merlin word. Merlin, Seist. About who's sitting at the table with me today. And I said today because that's what I felt like saying. And I'm off the clock. I ain't got to be an educator. I can speak how I want on my own shit. Right. What's up, y'all? So today I have, let me get ready because these some powerhouses. And I'm going to start right here on my ride.
Oh, man.
I got my boy Ryan Harris.
What up?
CEO and founder of As I Plant This Seed nonprofit organization. Listen. If you from Philly, you know who he is. And if you don't, then you probably not from Philly. He's a heavy hitter in the streets, like literally sleeping in the streets to make sure these kids get what they need out here. And I've had the privilege of knowing him for a few years, and everything about this brother right here is solid. And it's a pleasure to have you on, bro.
I appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
Right here. Right here to my left side. My young boy.
My young boy.
I ain't trying to son you, bro. Like my boy Amir, right? So he's an educator. He's also CEO and founder of Press. Listen, I don't even want to get it because we're going to have a time where I'm going to ask you to talk about you. But this dude is making phenomenal strides to make sure folk and they churn get the access they need to not only successfully complete high school, but to matriculate into institutions afterwards and get the money they need and the supports they need so that they can be successful. And that's what we need. And we don't really got too many brothers out here committed to that type of work. So I commend you. Appreciate you for being here today, bro. To my left side, the first guy I met in Philly, 2006.
Oh, yeah.
Dang, I knew my family, but he was the first guy I met when I moved here. My daughter, God Pop. I got my bro, Clarence, who is also, but look, anything money y'all need to know about, ask Clarence. This dude is a number cruncher. This dude can teach you how to save $1 for like 2 months and a half. Like, he is that guy. Smart as I don't know what. I wish I would have listened to him a little bit, because, dang, man. Sitting stacks. Let me stop. I don't know. I ain't counting his pockets. No, this is my boy. He's a personal trainer. Change begins now. Trying to get his body right, his mind right. I wish look, I'm not training with Clarence because Clarence wants you to work out 5 o'clock in the morning. And I ain't got the juice for that. But this is my bro. I love you, bro. Appreciate you for being here, bro. Right back here to my left side. My young boy. No, this is my old head right here.
You know you about to get it, man.
Yo, this is my big bro. Like, listen, I got to take some time with this one. This is my guy. Like, everything about the work that I do, it's kind of mirrored. This has been my right-hand guy for the last 3.5 years now, right? This dude, educator, dare I say, master educator, because no school he works in can do what they do without him. I'm going to put that out there. So if you work at this school and you see this, tell me I'm lying. Oh, all right. CEO and founder of Mentor Leaders Produce Mentor Leaders, which is a mentorship program.
Yes, sir.
He has co-founded King's University with me. So we do some work with young boys all around the city. We working on something major. Stay tuned. I almost plugged it, but I don't want to speak too soon. Working on something major. This is my guy, my bro, Vince. Shout outs to everybody around it. What's up, y'all?
What up? What up, Kev?
We here to have some honest conversation. Because let's be completely honest. There's a narrative around black men and fatherhood and black fathers in general, or the poor relationship between black boys and their dads, right? And every single one of us sitting here at the table has different experiences with not just our fathers, but some of us being fathers now. And some of us share the same experiences. Some of us have similar experiences. Some of us have had great relationships with our dads. Some of us haven't had relationships with our fathers at all. And I want today's conversation to kind of be an open conversation about those experiences, right? And kind of debunking these myths and changing the narrative around what people believe to be true about black boys and dads, right? So that's what I want to talk about. And the first thing that popped in my head when I thought about this conversation, right, was that little cliche saying when they be like, anybody can be a dad, but it takes a real man to be a father. What's your take on that? Because I think it should be the reverse. Like, what's your kids call you daddy. They don't call you, hi, father. Like, what? That's weird. Well, I'm not going to say weird, because some people probably do actually call their dad.
No, that is true.
But don't let me hear it, though, because I'm going to clown you.
Maybe in another demographic.
But let's talk about it. Yeah.
No, for real.
Folk that ain't skin folk, right?
That's what I'm saying.
But let's talk about that. What's your take on that? Like, anybody can be a dad, but it takes a real man to be a father. Or the reverse, the one I believe in. Anybody can be a father, but it takes a real man to be a dad. Like, what are your thoughts about that?
I mean, I believe that wholeheartedly. I don't think that you have to necessarily be somebody's biological father or dad.
Yeah.
To really be able to invest in them and love them and care them and direct them in the right way, and that's what a dad normally do. So, I mean, we doing it every day. You know what I mean? With kids that's not ours. So, and they look up to us like that. So it's a big responsibility, and that saying it hit hard. You know what I mean? It's just so cliche, but when you think about it, it really hit hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I used to wonder why people used to say that so fluently, right? Like, how come and here's the thing, go ahead.
These cliche things, I always feel like they become cliche to take the power out of them, because once something becomes normal or regular, it just takes away the effect or the impact of what is even the words. Right. But that's why when oh my God, knowledge is power. Yeah. And it's like when you think about it, it's like you heard it all your life, but once you really grasp the idea, like, oh my God, you know how powerful you is knowing something. You know what I mean? And it's just like, we gotta put more value back into it and not just let it be some cliche thing that's on the wall, but actually putting value into it and making sure that we doing our youth justice by making sure they get what they need and stop just saying what it is and really acting on it. So.
Yeah, like in my experience, I've heard more, dare I say, bitter baby mamas using that term. Like folk who, or women folk who aren't happy with their situations, and they want to like toss dirt,
downplay,
and downplay the role of their kid's dad, and they say it to make it seem like in an offensive way, right? Like he ain't this for me, so I'm gonna make it seem like he ain't this to his kid either, right?
That happens a lot.
Yo, and that's the trash. Like, that's trash, dog. I don't care what nobody say. That's trash. And I don't argue with women, but that's the one time I'm like, yo, you stupid. Like, what? That don't make no sense to me.
It doesn't. It's immaturity.
Major immaturity. Like, who raised you? Where was your daddy, right? Like, I ain't gonna get into that yet, because it's a whole another scenario around.
There's a whole lot of scenarios.
There's
a whole lot of scenarios that's not talked about besides the narrative of us being deadbeats or whatever the case may be. But there's a lot of, thin lines that, you know, when you start to talk about individual situation, you start to see is way more complicated situations with the kid's mom than it is so that the dad don't want to be in the kid's life or whatever. So, you know, not taking up for the ones that's not actually doing the work, but the ones that's trying, I know them. You know what I mean? I know them personally. So it's like, it's tough sometimes. You know what I mean? We got to carry the weight of that narrative regardless of, you know, what kind of dad you are. You know what I mean? So,
and we in roles where we impact other people's children, and I tell Vince all the time, yo, we play a dangerous game.
no, for sure.
We are literally being father figures to somebody else's sons, right? And these dads are offended.
No.
And it's not because they mad at us for doing the work. We making them look bad out here, right?
No, that's
Whose
true.
fault is that, though?
And they want to know who this dude you keep hanging around.
Yeah.
Who this guy you spend all this time with? Who?
Why he get an invite to your graduation and I didn't?
No, for real.
You're not available for him when he needs you.
For real.
That's like you said. It is dangerous. It's a thin line because a man looking at another man and a reflection of that, of what he's supposed to be, and you modeling that in his face, he's self-reflecting like, well, what am I missing? What am I not doing?
It hurts.
It hurts.
It
and
hurts.
It's like he don't know how to come to you as a man and say, look, I appreciate what you're doing for X, Y, and Z. Help me navigate and help me build a relationship with mines. They don't say that. You look at it from the envious and like that. It's a lot.
Because we still gotta learn. Because a lot of us still gotta heal from our trauma, from our fathers, whatever we had to endure, and we still gotta learn. There's a lot of learning to do. You know what I mean?
Let's stay there real quick. So let's talk about that. Like, what were your experiences with your fathers? Because if we have to go into the brain bank of I don't want to, and we often do this sometimes unconsciously, and I always thought about how it would be if, for one, I ain't asked to be a dad this soon. Like, this joint popped up on me out of nowhere, dog. Like,
You late in the game.
I'm not ready.
You late in the game. My kid's 13.
And I'm like, yo, you.
I remember
yo, I'm not ready. But then it happened, and I kind of like immediately went into the
a dad.
brainwave. Like, she can't get from me what I got from my dad.
Absolutely.
So, what was your experiences like with your fathers? And share what you want, share what you wish. And like this, dad, you gonna watch this, dad?
No, real right.
I'ma share something,
right.
and it ain't to throw dirt on you, but this is my truth, right?
I'm gonna jump out there.
Like, come on.
I'm gonna jump out there. So like, I don't know. I think you know about my upbringing, being raised in a 2-parent home, and then my mom and my dad separating, and then I was raised in a 1-parent home. And I mean, the distinct difference between, you feel it immediately financially. Things not moving like the way it was, or you can't get what you was getting before. The time that's spent with your dad is far and few. It's a lot, you know what I mean? And it's just like growing up and being able to see what I thought was a healthy family growing up. People used to look at our family like we the Huxtables or something, you know what I mean? And, you know, when there's turmoil in a relationship that you don't understand when you're young, you think that it's something that got to do with you, or is anything your fault, or whatever the case may be as a child when you're thinking these things in your brain. And it's just like, you know, I had to really adapt and adjust to a different world of a 2-parent home, single-parent home. It's a little bit more like our thoughts about working was immediate. Like, all right, we 11 years old now, we about to go bag at the store. We you know what I mean? Just the dynamic of the household changed, the income changed, you know what I mean? So that relationship with my dad was kind of, like I said, far and few. Whatever he was doing, the life that he lived when he lived with us, it was still the same busy life. It didn't change, and now it's a busy life in 2 different households. I didn't understand that until I got older. You would think that, you know, I knew my dad was busy. I knew he was flying away and going on tours or whatever. That was the norm in our household. But to not live there and then still be doing those things, is a little bit different. You know what I mean? Because you already know he coming home every night. You already know that's the security blanket. That's the breadwinner in the family. And we was cool when we know our dad was there. So, you know, as much as the transition affected us, my mom did the best job she could do. You know what I mean? Being a housewife, you know, never really working. You know what I mean? Like a job. My dad really took care of us, so it was a big transition. And that transition kind of like pulled apart or put a strain on our relationship between me and my dad or whatever, because just not seeing him is not the same. Right. Not being as attentive as he could be because he's not right there, missing things that probably normally he wouldn't miss because he's right there.
Right.
And it wasn't until I got older until I had to kind of like realize, you know, had to look at myself too. Had to look at my life and decisions I made and with my kids and stuff like that. So, you know, that relationship with my father around the time that he left was 11 years old, 12 years old. That's like key. That's the time when you transition into a man and you're trying to figure out, well, a young man. Yeah. And you're trying to figure out some stuff. You know, you getting these bumps on your face and, you know, your body changing and, you know, you
changing.
Yeah, you know, and it's just like some things you got to get walked through. And I could see, you got to get walked through. I walked my son through a lot of stuff now. He's 13 years old. You know what I mean? So, you know, I know that time that was lost between me and my dad when the split, you know, I value that time with my son now. You know what I mean? He's 13. I always think about it like, damn, like, you be needing that extra little push, you know what I mean? And whatever you get on the outside of the home from whatever mentors, that's supposed to be the extra push. I'm sorry. So, you know what I mean? But go ahead.
So, quick question, and then y'all can hop in wherever you feel comfortable, right? But quick question. When your son hit the age of 11, between 11 and 11 and a half, 12, was there a part of you that, in a sense,
felt accomplished?
Questioned if by the time he made it to 13, there would be a similarity in experiences? Because your dad left.
I want no question that it wasn't going to be the same experience.
Got you.
It wasn't even a thought. Me and my kids' mom wasn't together since they was 2 years old. They my kids. You know what I mean? Like, you know how with a mom and a dad, the mom always seemed like they got when they say they my kids, it's like, all right. But no, I feel the same exact way. You know what I mean? Because I've been there. I put the work in. You know what I mean? So it's like, we do a great job of co-parenting. So it just makes sense for us to make it easier for them to get what they need without us.
Got you.
You know, with us missing our part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we do the best that we can, and it's not easy. No. It's not easy at all. But at the same time.
No, it's not. No.
It's not easy, but at the same time, the best thing we try to do at the end of the day was best for the kids. Even when it don't feel good for me or it don't feel good for her, at the end of the day, you know, the best thing is whatever the kids need. So
you know. All right, fellas.
Yeah, no, something that stuck out when you were just talking, I'm listening, and I'm taking it in. You caught your son at a crucial age where you were able to carry the responsibility for him.
Yeah.
When you said your dad was going, a lot of things you were going through, like that phase, 11, 12, 13 is that phase where you kind of like curious. Things happening to my body, things moving, I'm watching things, I'm hearing things. I'm curious, I want to do it. I want to do it. So you caught your son at that age where you were able to stop and deter or stop him from carrying a load. Because you started thinking about working, jobs, hustling, grinding. At that age, your mind shouldn't be nowhere near thinking about hustling, grinding, working. Your mind is thinking about future, jobs, what I may want to do, responsibility.
Sports, whatever.
Whatever you choose to do, your mind should not be worrying about a job and a dollar bill.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's like that was just for me. I'm like the mindset and the shift and the father, like the response. You were available for him. Like my dad was just MIA. Like my sole purpose and my goal for like just working with kids is to provide and give them what my mind envisioned a dad, father, whatever you choose to would be or was supposed to be. So those defining moments or them curious moments, you need somebody to lean on.
Yeah.
Me, I'm like, I don't like my dynamic was crazy because everybody got stories about, yeah, when you was young, you was your father, he had you all them times. Yeah, when I got older and able to realize that young, like my grandma, shout out to Dora Garrett, that was the best woman now. That is what it is. She was just one of them women, you just style, grace, class, whatever. So she passed away. That was my rock. And my father lived across the street from my grandmother. I would go see my grandmother like, every day. Birthday on Valentine's Day, so that was my Valentine every year. So any girlfriend was mad. Chilling with grandma, that's my Valentine. So good luck to you. Dad lived across the street. I would go see my grandma, look out the window, look, see if he on the block, never seen him. Go see my grandma again, never seen him. Go see my grandma again. Like, this is my baby. He lived across the street. If I go to my grandma's window, I can see my dad's house across the street. Long story short, catch up speed. I finally met my father. I was reading my daily bread, and it was like, God forgives you for all the sins, so how can you carry or cast upon, frown upon somebody else when he's carrying all your burdens? Right. Dad wasn't available. I'm casting. I was that. 2 parents don't make a house. Yes, 2 is better than 1. So anybody out there saying it?
Any day.
2 is better than 1. You have 2 active parents. It's better than a single parent household. I don't care what you're talking about. You get the dad's perspective, you get the mom. They collab, give you the best decision they possibly can. 2 is better than 1. So long story short, get back on my dad. I finally had the heart to let me go knock on his door. I'm a man, working. I don't need that. I would love to, but at this point, I'm living. I'm grown. Let me go knock and see, be mature.
Yeah.
Dad knocked on the door. Knocked 3 times. He finally came, cracked open the door. He yelled, first of all, before he opened the door, he said, "Who is it?" I said, "It's your son. It's Vince." I know his voice. I'm like, it got to be him. Peek, opened the door. He cracked the door. He's like, "What's up? Long time. About time you came to see me."
Like it was your job to.
Like, what?
Yeah, all right, Dad.
Like, what? All right, he said, "What you doing?" I said, "I'm going back to see Grandma." He said, "All right, cool, I'm going to come over there." I scared the crap out of him. He never thought his large dream, his son would come, be the first person to take that step to kind of like, so I knew he wasn't coming. So I went to my grandma. She said, "Yeah, that's what he get. You shook his ass up. That's what he needed." A week later, he passed away. Done. So at the funeral, people were like, "Oh my God, I didn't know I had a son. You look just like him." Blah 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 blah. But for me, that initial conversation, like going to the door, was all I need. That's all I needed.
Yeah,
that was
that
it.
was
that
the
was
closure.
the closure that I needed. To the funeral
man.
and no tears and all that stuff like that. I needed that as a man. No matter what happens, you always had in the back of your mind, I want to have a father around. What would it be like? I'm a man, a young man. I need that male influence.
Yeah.
What will my life be like? I still think about it today. Like, if I had a solid relationship with my father, what would it be like?
Yeah.
So now, becoming a father, you can't tell me nothing about fatherhood, daddy. Call me father, daddy, whatever you want to do. You can't tell me nothing about me, the father. When I say I'm the best dad, I don't care how many kids you got. I'm the best dad walking on this earth. So my goal is pretty much like I'm going to give them, provide them every opportunity,
absolutely,
and every chance to do whatever they choose to do. I'm going to be in their corner, right or wrong. I'm going to be like that kickstand.
Right,
they're always going to have it for the rest of their life.
Hashtag girl dad.
All day long.
So to, I guess, bring those 2 worlds together, since Kev called me his young bull, unfortunately, I don't have any kids yet. Shout out to my old head. But yeah, definitely. So growing up, my parents divorced when I was young, but I was 2.
So you didn't get the effect.
So it was like I have older siblings, but my mom and my father have 3 kids together. Myself, my twin brother, and my older brother. We're
Shout out to the twins.
Yeah, shout out to the twins.
I got twins.
Yes, sir. How many minutes?
Well, me and my brother? 3. I'm older.
Oh, 2 minutes.
You older?
Yeah.
Oh, solid.
My God.
Take pride in the minutes. Y'all don't understand. Oh yeah, I got twins.
That
Yeah,
happened to my cousin.
yeah. Boy and a girl.
What?
Boy and a girl.
My cousin is
it's the best thing
fraternal,
ever.
and his first shot, fraternal twins. I was like,
Yeah.
he's like, I can't believe it. I said, what, you went shopping for one and got one for free? Like,
Yeah. First shot and my last shot.
That's crazy. So so growing up, my older brother had that relationship with our father. but we really didn't. So I never really remember a time where my dad was actually in the house. So we moved around a lot. We've never lived near our dad. Like, he lived in Jersey all of our life, and then we lived in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
But growing up, it was more so on, like, we have pictures together when I was a child, but I can't really tell you anything about what we did. Like, in those pictures, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's us and him, but what were we doing? I don't know.
What age was these pictures?
I was before I was 2, so definitely before they split.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
I was like, man, that's crazy. So growing up, I used to always say, I did say that saying, like, you know, the dad and the father thing, because I felt like he was my dad because I only seen him periodically. A father would raise me. He didn't do the job that my mother did in my eyes. And he might not ever see this, but we never really had this conversation either. But growing up...
Wait a minute, but did y'all spend time with each other after?
Yeah. Like,
wow.
he would pop up. Like, but it was... This is the... We didn't have a father and son relationship. We had a friendship.
Gotcha.
Because it was like you were
And that's
showing
the
up
difference.
to... take us to go get Easter suits because my dad can dress. He's sharp as a tack.
Okay.
So he was in charge of that and haircuts. Like, those were the things he was showing up for. But it wasn't until I was in, like, maybe like 9th grade, we had a soccer game. And I'm like, yo, dad's coming. My dad has been on permanent disability probably since I was in middle school. So he hasn't worked. But he, you know, he's driving and walking fine. He might have a cane every now and again, but he's not, like, paralyzed or anything like that, right? So he shows up to a soccer game, and he was like, oh, man, you know, soccer games are 45-minute halves. He stayed for a half, and he left. He left at halftime, and he said, man, y'all don't play T-ball no more? I'm like, bro, this is 9th grade. Matter of fact, this was 8th grade. I was like, this is 8th grade? I haven't played T-ball since 4th. Like, you really asking me about baseball today? Like,
Let me ask, you ever wonder how good of a dad he think he is?
yeah, absolutely. Because I already
That part, bro.
The answer to that is I think I know. Because as we got older, right, we would go through spats where we really didn't talk to him, or my mom would be like, yo, I gotta go stay with your dad for today or whatever. Go stay tonight. And we would have a fit. He probably don't know this, but we would have a fit. Like, I would call my mom like, can you call him and tell him we're not coming? Like, and sometimes we get out of it. Sometimes we go over for the day, and he'd be like, oh, y'all staying tonight? I'm like, no, mom's definitely coming. And she would say, I'll never forget, she knows this story. We were at his house in Ewing, and he was like, y'all might as well stay tonight. Your mom not here yet. It was getting late. It was dark. And we heard her brakes screeching and her
Y'all
rocks
got out of
crumbling.
there.
Probably took off.
Man, he came in like, oh, your mom here. We was like, oh, for real? Nah, we was up. Like, we was up the whole time. Because Omar didn't have to go. He was older. Like, he had that relationship with my dad.
Right.
But Aman and I, we didn't. So as
So
we got...
your mom and your dad was married?
Yeah, they were married. They were married for a while. Because my older brother, we're 9 years apart. They were married
So
before
that's
then.
why do it always seem like with dads, it's like they gotta be in the crib to really give you the joint, but that's not really true. Even if you're not in the crib, you can still get everything you need.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But it just
Still
seemed
teach
like
me these things. Just like you teach me how to get a suit tailored, you could have taught me how to tie the tie.
Right.
But you never did.
Right.
So just how you told me if somebody jump on your brother, you better not let him get jumped. It's the same way you could have just showed up and did the math homework with me. But those things didn't happen. So my mom took that load. And it wasn't until, So my twin brother passed away. We'll get to that, I guess, one day. We don't got to get to it today. My twin brother passed away during our freshman year of college. He got into an accident our senior year of high school. And I'll never forget when it happened, my dad and I used to be off and on. And mine was the more like fly off the cuff. You couldn't talk to him. It was like, like, oh, you ain't rocking with me? Cool, whatever. Like, see me when you see me. But I was more like, nah, come on, Pop, da-da-da-da. Like, it was bad that my dad came to pick us up from church, and my brother was a drummer, and I would be like, yo, Dad's outside. Like, he was like, I'm not getting off, kid. Like, it is what it is. He's just going to be outside. And he was giving us money that day. My mom was like, go get the money. He was like, no, he can keep that. Like, I'm good off of that. And I'm like, man, all right, I'll take his money, like, whatever. So when a mine got in his accident, the first person I called was my dad. I don't know really why, but I called him and was like, something happened. You got to show up to the hospital. And he came. Not for nothing. He would show up to certain things. But then he showed up to the hospital. He was there, but then like we graduated. 2-3 months later, mom was in the hospital. My dad didn't show up for my high school graduation. My stepmom was there, and I was like, "Where's my pop?" She was like, "Oh, he said he didn't. So why didn't he call me?"
Right.
My senior night of soccer, both of ours. This was before the accident. Amon, of course, did not write my dad's name down. He's like, he is not walking me out. So I was like, all right, I'll write both of my parents. My aunt, my uncle will walk my brother. My dad called my mom and was like, yeah, can you tell the boys I ain't? So my mom was like, no,
That's
you got to
so
call
big
him.
on
So he
the
calls.
sport when you were an athlete, high school athlete. On a
Right. He was an
senior night.
athlete. He was a crazy athlete. Like, so he calls Amon. Amon answers. He calls the house. Amon answers the phone. Like, yeah, what's up? Okay, cool. Amon didn't care because Amon didn't write him down. I wrote him down.
Right.
So it was like, yo, just my mom walked me out there. And I didn't even play that night.
No,
Yo, you know why you messing me? How old are you?
33.
You messing me up because me and my brother is just like what you describing and how we carried it. You know what I mean? Like he kind of like more so would he just out he outside he doing him. You know what I mean? Like he not dwelling on me. I probably was more so looking for how it used to be with my dad. You know what I mean? Like when I was young, when I used to run in the crib, I remember when he used to come in the crib, run and jump on his leg and stuff like that. Those are things that I do remember that I always kind of held on. And you know what I mean?
I wish I had those. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, real
The
rap.
only thing I remember growing up, and I say this, I guess, more often than I've ever even known, the times that I went to my dad's house, all we talked about were suits and cars. We played around in the garage all day long. That's why I love getting dressed. I love putting on a nice suit, and I love cars.
That's what you got from him.
Yeah, 2 expensive hobbies that I got from him. And I'm like, man, these are the most expensive hobbies I probably could have got into. But, man, it's like when we have that moment, and then when my brother got in his accident, it was like he didn't show up to the hospital for like 2 weeks, but I would see him in like all the newspapers talking about it. Mm-hmm. And then he showed up on Father's Day at the hospital, brand new suit. I almost knocked this man out because he came in the room. He was in the room, and I walked in. I seen him. I'm like, man, I'm out. I did. Amon's girlfriend at the time, my niece Avery, her mom, she walks out, and she says, Mom said it's okay. He understands. My mom's like, what's wrong? I said, yo, this dude ain't been up here for 2 weeks. And he shows up on Father's Day in a brand new suit. He about to get walked. Like, I'm about to trash him right now. So we were in Center City. We spent every day at Jefferson. I walked through the city because I was like, I can't be in this hospital. And when he came out with my stepmom and maybe one of my sisters. And I turned around. I was like, I can't. If he locks eyes with me, we gonna box. And we didn't talk for years. Like throughout college, I didn't talk to my father. We had one conversation where I was like, yo, we gonna get busy. Simply because he said something like slick, but he said he wasn't saying something slick. Yeah. And he wrote on Facebook, out of all things, right? Yo, when you see me, have your towel rag ready. I called my cousin. My cousin called me. He's like, twin, let it go.
Damn, y'all
I said, yo,
like
when
that.
you see this, man.
It's immature though, man.
Right.
Like, you, my whole dad, though.
Right.
Like, you
Right.
going my
And I
whole
said, if
dad.
anybody
I
has
can't
anything-
imagine.
And anybody has anything smart to say about the status about my mom, cut it. Like, that's not what this is for.
Right.
Then he started, like, indirectly. But I'm like, yo, if you're going to talk about me, at me, right? So I told him, I said, yo.
Talking like that to your pop?
Yeah.
Damn.
We can get busy, sir. Because you couldn't hang with in 97. What do you think you're doing with me in 2000? So, like, nothing. You can't. It's not happening.
Hey,
So-
listen, sometimes you gotta, we hold so much in when it comes to our fathers, man, that if it ever got to that point, if we got scrap, we got scrap.
Right.
Because,
Now,
not that I don't think you would intentionally fight
No,
your
no,
dad
I
off
wouldn't
just
intentionally,
off
but
the strength of fighting him.
It's
but,
like, you know, when you grow up and you got, my
Yeah.
mom always sent us over there for whooping. I'm like, had I known what I know now, he would never put his hands on me. Why? Because you didn't raise me. My mom could smack me up all day, and I respect her for it. But my pop, dude, you weren't in the house. You're not even in the house. You wasn't in sight. You wasn't on the field,
you didn't
right?
play your part.
Carol been here,
Yeah.
so she might as well light me
Yeah.
up every chance she get. Now, this day, my dad and I are smooth because kind of like to your story, there was a time I didn't talk to my dad, but my brother would always go over there and he'd be like, yo, dad asked about you. I'm like, well, he didn't ask me. I ain't saying nothing to him. And my uncles from church would be like, man, talk to your pop. Talk to your pop. They're not blood related.
But here's the thing. Why
is it
the
we got to talk to them?
responsibility of the
Right.
son? Why
It's
are you
not-
keep encouraging me to go to a man
Right.
to get help? Come
And
on,
that's what it
like,
was.
Come on with that.
He used
Yeah,
to
people
say,
like,
He told why he didn't come to my college graduation. Well, Amir didn't ask about me when he texted me. He just said, I said, yo, look, I'm graduating in like 2 weeks. You don't need a ticket. Here's the address. Here's the time. Just show up. I didn't want to do that. My mom's like, Amir, just do it. But to your point, you're my dad.
Like,
I shouldn't be checking on you.
come on, man.
You got a responsibility. You need to check up on me.
That you decided to do. Like, why am I?
You made the
decided-
choice
come
to
on,
be
man.
that.
You decided to
to
do
do all
this,
these
so
other
now I'm the
things,
one responsible
have
for carrying the
these
weight
other
of your
kids.
responsibility.
And now you're looking at us.
Come on,
but
man.
now, after I graduated, it was like, yeah, Amir did his thing. He went to school. He got his degree. Where'd I graduate from? What's my degree in?
saying.
If you could tell me where I first went to school, I'll give you your props. But you can't. And he used to do things like his license plate is Amon 5, my brother's name. He did that because he knew as soon as Amon passed, my mom was going to get Amon's name on her plate. So he went and did it. So now my mom can't. It says Amon 1. So my mom was like,
You're not gonna get him on too.
I was like, you want me to go get it? You want it? I'll go take that thing off the truck.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like I said, to this day, we smooth. Like,
Right.
a lot of things had to happen.
Yeah, for it to get
because
there, right.
I just showed up to his house one day.
Man,
He came
that's
outside.
a blessing on y'all.
Facts, ain't nothing but God, bro.
Like, look, that was a blessing because all the I'm listening to your story and I'm like, I might want to swing on him too on the wall.
Right.
Like, I'm thinking about Lil Jon. Am I? Tighten him up.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying. It take a lot of maturity. Like,
Right,
a guy
yeah,
like
yeah.
that really like help
Right.
navigate that, man. Because that's
And then,
touchy,
like,
man.
2 weeks after that, I went to Atlanta, and I came back. And as soon as I got back, taking my mom to the hospital for an appointment, she calls me on my way. She's like, where you at? I'm on my way. She's like, you talked to your stepmom? No. Was I supposed to? She's like, well, your dad's in the hospital. I'm like, for what? They think he had a stroke. I'm like, well, which hospital are you in? Oh, the same hospital we going to this morning. I said, that's sick, because y'all ain't never been in the same room, let alone a hospital together in a long time. And when I showed up, I've never seen my dad down like that, like just down and like physically out. And I looked at him and I just started crying. And I'm like, yo, that was it. And since then,
It's
we've
been
been
good,
smooth.
good,
Like,
good.
when
That's-
I bought my
that's-
house,
that's
I
up.
called him the night before my last walkthrough. I said, I just need you to take a ride with me. And when we pulled up, I was like, look, it was me, him, and my older brother. And I said, look, I did something. He said, I told your stepmom, it was either you about to go buy a new car or you bought a house. He was like, man, I'm proud of you. And that was the first time I think him, my mother, my godmother was here from Tennessee, they've ever been in a room together.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Man,
Yo,
I
that's-
just got
that's-
that community for me.
That's
Yeah,
so
for
major.
sure, bro. That's for sure.
I know people that don't even want to have a conversation with their dad. Don't care to. Don't think about them. You know what I mean? So that's heavy for you to be in a space where you can, tighten that up. Yeah, for sure.
And when we looked at each other, it was like, it's cool. I think he knew.
Yeah. Go ahead, see.
I was gonna say it's crazy because I think I bring a different like viewpoint because my
Exactly
dad,
why you sitting
my
here, bro.
pop, he's been in my life since I was born. Like my parents have been married 30 going on 38 years, and I learned he's my role model. I learned everything from my pop, how to be a man, how to keep God first, like tying shoes. He's been to every single game or sports thing that I've attended. And the crazy part is my dad grew up without a dad.
Ooh.
So, but he was the best dad for me. Like, not saying my dad's perfect, but he was the perfect father I could ask for.
Yeah.
Like, if I
That's
go
thorough.
and ask,
Yeah.
God for a better dad, he's the
Right,
one.
that's
So,
wow.
it's
That's a good
just
feeling.
Wow.
yeah, and
I
it's
wish
like
my son felt that about me.
And he probably do. He just ain't gonna tell you that.
Yeah.
yet. It has to be
But
opportunity.
but you know what too though?
Mm-hmm.
I think that you really can't figure that out until later too. You need time to start understanding.
Life
all.
has to happen.
Yeah,
so
life
that
gotta happen for
things
you to
can
see.
kick in.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
man, that's
Like-
yo.
like the things he's done. Like I look back and I'm like, yo, I appreciate my pop. Like,
yeah.
my mom has been great. My dad's been. It's just like just having a father. I just know when I have kids one day, like
That's
I'll
what
be a
you-
great father because of the things he's passed on to
That's
me.
amazing.
That's so heavy.
And then I've always said the reverse of that. I'll be a great father because what I didn't get from my pop, right? I learned one of my most life's valuable lessons from his dad. His wedding, your rehearsal dinner.
Yeah.
We was walking up to the restaurant. He was like, "Yo, fat brother, what you do?" And I was like, "I got a lot going on." I was like, "I got a lot going on." He was like, "Well, that's your problem. you doing too much. And I was like, yo, I'm thinking to myself,
How
like,
do you know?
like, I ain't said nothing to him. He was like, you doing too much, right? He said, tell me what you're doing. And I named everything. And at the time, All the King's Men had just started, right? And I was running down all these things that I wanted to do, right? And he was like, focus on one thing, master that, pass that off, it's still yours. Let somebody else run it, and then you pick up the torch for the other thing. He said, never do so much at one time you forget what you're doing. I was like, yo.
Real
But
rap.
in my mind, I'm like, for
those
one, that's
lessons.
dope. For two, I would have never heard that from my dad. Never heard that from my dad. So, like, in my experience with my dad, it's no secret. I've talked about it my entire life. Like, I've always known who my dad was, and it's very rare for kids who don't have a relationship with their fathers to be close to their dad's side of the family. I'm equally close to both sides of my family.
too.
Like
That's
equally
crazy.
close to both sides of my family.
Me too. But I was raised with both sides of my family, and like I said early on, we was in one household, so that was a lot easier.
Yeah.
But as we got older, we still stayed in contact.
See,
like
I
I
don't-
love both sides of my family.
Yeah, I don't remember being in the
Yeah.
same household as my pop. I'm both of my parents' oldest child, so my they were very young, 14 and 15 when. So I remember sporadic moments with my pop, right? But I can remember every waking day with his mom, right? Sporadic moments with my dad. And I remember when I was 10, we was at our family reunion. He sat me on the hotel steps and he was like, I don't want you to be like me. And the only thing I can think of was, well, what does that mean? Because in my mind, I'm sitting next to my dad.
Right.
Everything is cool,
Right.
right? I had no concept of failed relationship and what that actually meant. I just know sometimes I saw my dad, sometimes I didn't. And then it wasn't until then where it clicked. There's a separation in understanding. Like, he believes himself to be one way, I believe him to be one way, and those two things aren't the same. Right? And then I was like, I used to question at that point, well, what was my dad like? Who was my...
You got any concepts of any other, like your friends,
Nope.
dads? No?
The only relationship I have seen with father and mother in the same household was my Uncle Lee and his wife, who's my pastor. And we, me and my siblings and his children all grew up close. So I remember one family reunion, we sitting on the step, and we all used to stay with each other, right? Everybody in one room. It'd be like 12 pallets on the floor. If y'all know what a pallet is, bruh, it's a blanket and a pillow, and it's 15 cousins in the same room. And all of us fighting for the space by the air. But that's, we all in, and we legit, me and my sisters, boo-hoo crying, trying to express to them, don't take for granted what you have, because we wish we had our dad. We wish we had this. And I remember I was 25 years old, my first professional job up here, right? And I had enough. Since 17, I was going to tell my dad how I felt about him. And if we fight, we fight. If we don't, we don't. If he understands, he understands. Whatever it is, I didn't care at that point, right? 25 years old, I wrote my dad a letter on a Friday, 4.5 pages. Everything in that letter, I said what I wanted. I said how I felt. I cursed when I wanted to. I told him what he wasn't, what he was when I wanted to. And I put it in the mailbox. I got a call Monday at about 4:20 something. I'll never forget it. I was at work. 2 of my sons was around me. And I get a call, and it's my dad. And all I hear is, hello? I was like, what's up, Dad? And in my mind, I'm preparing myself for whatever. I just told myself, if he come at me sideways, I'm going to curse his ass out, and it's going to be what it is. Like, but I'm ready to hear whatever he got to say. And all I could hear was him crying. And he said, I got your letter. And I was like, that big inhale, and you never exhale until you... I could not wait any longer.
I'm talking about this.
What, writing it?
And then sending it off.
I went through a lot as a kid, and writing was my way out of it.
Okay.
Right? So, yeah, it was easy for me to write everything. So, when he read it, verbatim, said, I got your letter, and I thank you for saying what you said to me. He was like, I was always your dad. I just never knew how to be your dad. I was always a man, but I never knew how to be a man. And then he said, teach me how to be the father you needed. And that was all I needed, bro. You talking about sitting in a school with kids around you. 2 of my sons follow me because I'm walking away because I don't want to cry in front of them.
Right.
And they see me like, Uncle Kev, what's wrong? And I'm boo-hoo crying because immediately I felt the weight lifted. Like, dog, and from that moment, I made a vow to my pop. We'll never have a sour relationship. But I'm always going to do my best to try to understand you from that viewpoint, right? And there's been times since then where me and my dad didn't speak at all. I'm the only person alive in this world today, even when his parents were alive. The only person alive that can really get to him. And he has 5 kids, but me and 2 of my sisters by my mom, right? I'm the only child he has, the only person alive in this world today that can tell my dad, sit down and listen, and he will.
Here's the thing, like the crazy part about that. Man, that's because most men will never admit that.
Never.
I'll admit it, like,
Yeah.
I'm a
He
man.
said to
I'm
me.
gonna work through it. I'm gonna be all
Right.
They're not gonna
Yeah.
admit
No,
that.
I wasn't even expecting that response.
Yeah, I wasn't either, bro.
I wasn't.
I'm telling you, when it was silent, that silence said to me, all right, Kev, get ready to cut this nigga out if you got to.
Cause the first thing you think is like excuses. They about to tell me what really happened or why this and whatever. You know what I mean? But that was thorough. That was thorough.
Yeah, so it's like we all have our different experiences with fatherhood. Some of us aren't dads. Like, some of us are dads. And I think what's interesting for me, and I don't know if you guys share the same experience, and you too may get it later on in life, like, I want to be very cautious not to make sure that I want to be cautious that I'm not trying so hard to not be my dad that I become my dad. Does that make sense? Like, I got angry with my daughter one time, and it wasn't because she made me mad. It was because I had a long day and Daddy
You
was
was frustrated already.
and I carried the weight of so many other people's children, right? That I didn't have the energy for my daughter. And she just simply wanted daddy time.
That's
And
it.
It was, I think it was something she wanted. And her mom was right there, but I was the only one she wanted. And I'm like, and before I knew it, I screamed
Is
at her.
that the day we was on the phone?
Like, yeah.
And then you got to check yourself. Like,
Yeah,
yo, I'm tripping.
and legit, the look she gave me, bro,
Almost broke you.
almost
Broke you.
I hung up with bro, and I like,
Yeah, he was on the phone. I'm like, dang.
I held her and I cried like I would never. I said, "Daddy,
At a
so
moment.
sorry.
Look.
I'm so sorry.
know how many
I'm
times-
so sorry. I would never
Oh
do
my
that to
God.
you again. That's not your fault." And then she's at the time was like 1.5, and I'm holding her and I'm like, I know she don't understand what I'm saying, but I felt like saying it out loud made it better for her. Like, it wasn't you. These people at work got daddy upset today,
Yeah.
and I had to kind of like walk her through the story. But but our parents weren't doing that for us. They weren't about to justify how they felt. Some parents don't.
I'm a
Anyway,
man,
wasn't
I'm a
about
parent.
the
I don't have to
right.
explain
I got the
nothing.
answer. I ain't got to explain
I don't
nothing
gotta
to you.
explain nothing to
Hence
you.
the reason why we have so many mental disparities in black families, because everybody feel like they don't owe people nothing. But your stories being what they are, right? Your narratives being what they are around you, your relationship with your fathers, hearing what society has to say about black men and fatherhood in general, us in many different forms, everybody at this table have played the father role for other people's children. And I think the interesting thing is, and I kind of want to hear what you guys have to say about it, what you think about it, is the fact that no matter what people think or say, if we always are in alignment with the mission of just making sure these kids got somebody, bro, and they don't have to be our kids. Like, I feel my daughter's safe with anybody in this room. I know that wholeheartedly.
sure.
Safe with anybody in this room. A lot of people can't say that about
That is true.
their children and the people that's around their kids, right? So, and I think that's where a lot of these societal norms come from. Like, because something happened to one black kid in the hood or whatever, everybody is like thrown into that same basket and bucket, but just like all black men are the same. All black women are the same. You know what I'm saying? A passionate black woman is an angry black woman. Or a passionate black man is an angry black man. All those things are grouped within the same. But I think more specific to, I just went in a tangent. But going back to what we was talking about, I think, and tell me what you think. The more we support each other in debunking the myths and the narratives around black men, black fathers, black father figures, and making it known that just because my dad won't dare don't mean I'm going to be a piece of crap like I feel like he was, or just because my dad or my father wasn't there doesn't mean that I won't have the tools necessary to be a successful man. Or, in Clarence's perspective, just because his father was physically there, and I know that his father was very active, right? But it's guys who live in households with mom and dad who don't have a connection with
got the worst
relationship.
Those boys, when they grow up, oh my goodness.
Because I always say, I would have much rather not have known my dad at all than to have known him and understood the fact that he did not play his part.
I got friends that
my
won't
life.
even acknowledge their dad, and he lived with them as long as I can remember.
Yeah, see, that's
You feel what I'm saying?
To me, that's more dangerous than
don't
an
even want.
accident.
Don't even want me to say your dad. My dad, they ain't my dad. Live with him all their life. I'm talking about close friends of mine. So I see it from so many different angles.
Crazy.
You know what I mean?
I ain't even gonna hold you. I ain't got front to nobody. My dad name come across his phone today, and I'm 7 years old. Hey, Dad, what's up? How you feel? Like, because there's some level of security in the fact that I got a chance to hear his truth before I didn't get a chance to hear his truth. I got a chance to experience, I didn't have to go with what people said. And we all have heard, you're going to be just like your dad. Or you got traits or characteristics just like your dad. Well, I wish, Dad, I wish you would have taught me how to play ball so I don't look like a slouch on these streets. Like, I got a jumper, but I can't play the game.
Right.
Like, don't ask me to play the game. I'm not about to embarrass, but my dad was the best basketball player in my town, bro. Like, scouted in middle school for college
I got that,
type time. You
I
feel what
got
I'm
that.
saying? My dad was a great artist. Like, here's the thing. If my dad wasn't introduced to drugs at an early age, my dad dropped out of high school in 9th grade, right? And my mom was pregnant with me in 9th grade, right? So if my dad would have followed the path laid for him, I wouldn't know y'all. Bruh, I'll be big balling in LA somewhere, dog. Like, pocket stick with my dad money, swearing I'm doing something. But he had that potential. And here's the beauty in it. I am living the life my dad was supposed to live. And had I had lived the life that was laid out for him when he deterred away from it, I wouldn't know value. I wouldn't know relationship. I'd be so spoon-fed, I would not be able to contribute much to anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would be the typical rich kid. And I hate to categorize people, but we all know the facts.
We know what's up.
that be the facts. Like, so I think question, and then we're gonna get ready to wrap up because I don't want to keep y'all too long.
You got my brain over here.
So what is
going.
it? What's your brain saying, boy?
I'm just saying that, everything that everybody has been saying collectively is just it just puts you in a space where you just start thinking about the relationship with you and your dad. And something that you said to me about, something not to me, something that you said today. Oh man, I just missed it. But something that you said today remind me of how my dad is a artist, gospel artist, done sung all over the world, this and this and that. And, I know that he worked hard to try to provide a good life for us, whatever the case may be. Chasing his dreams and all that type of stuff. But, I'm not an artist.
Right.
I never wanted to be an artist. I think that early on when I was younger and I looked up to him, I wanted to be like him. Like, I wanted to be able to sing like him or be able to, know the people that he know, whatever the case may be. As I got older, I felt like all the stuff that, he was doing, all the great things that he was doing, kind of probably, interfered with the relationship that we possibly would have because of time. And I find myself also working so hard for the dream that I see for myself that I really be having to take time out for my own kids. So even seeing stuff like that, like these conversations just reminding me of, just being mindful of those things and, the relationship with my kids and making sure I'm crossing my T's and dotting my I's to make sure I build that relationship. So making the basketball games, my daughter basketball games, my son games, even when I'm away, I got somebody FaceTiming me, watching the game, and I could probably count on one hand how many games I missed for each of them. And they probably had over 100, 200 games by now.
But hold on, let me call you out real quick because he's being very modest. He started a brand and a business for his kids too. But the concept and all that is theirs, but the mastermind behind it, of course, is the support they get from their pop.
For sure.
And that hustle comes from his hustle,
That's for
right?
sure.
Not only that, bro, like your pop was in the music industry. You could have chosen to go in it. You probably got the sauce to do it, right? Nah. But look at what you produce in your program, bro.
Well,
you have professional artists in your program.
And I'm able to get them to connect with him
You see
also.
what I'm saying?
You know what I mean?
So
with our
here's the
relationship now,
thing,
you feel
bro.
me?
You, if we would have gotten at the time what we felt like we wanted, would we be who we are?
I know that I would probably be somewhere
You see what
doing
I'm
music.
saying?
I will be with him.
You see what I'm
I
saying?
would
And
probably be
that's
doing
why
some music.
that's why I can appreciate brothers like you, Clarence. Like you got the well-rounded experience, right? And you're humble enough to not just proclaim it, but not look at other people who didn't get it like we the odd ones out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that takes a certain level of self-respect, respect for others, a certain level of courtesy, honesty, understanding that some people really don't have. Because you are more of a rarity than we are.
For sure.
I call you lucky in the hood. Like if you was
What?
around the neighborhood the other day, I'd be like, oh, you lucky.
What you would be the guy everybody came
lucky,
to.
bro.
It's
Like, how
crazy
you-
because
I don't know how you-
hearing
that's luck.
this makes me appreciate. I would take stuff for granted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, this is
Bro, you
crazy.
lucky, bro.
And I think
You lucky.
I think I'm gonna do this because this is my joint and I can do what I want to do. Like
I like that energy too.
the moment
My joint killed
Yeah.
me. Like,
the moment y'all become fathers, man, I already see the type of men you both are, right? I met this dude by accident.
Complete accident.
Like we were both asked to be facilitators at this youth
I
conference,
love how
right?
y'all can be related.
That's crazy.
That's first of all.
That's
when I
crazy.
walked up, I'm like,
I'm like, yo, cuss.
is he gonna hide stuff from me?
But it's crazy because when you got out the
y'all-
car, I
I'm
looked
like,
at
y'all
you and I
cousins,
was
y'all
like,
favor
That's
each
why I
other
wanna wear
crazy.
talent
and
like
I
this.
Glasses,
almost wore
hat,
my- I
beard.
almost
Y'all
wore this
favor,
shirt
y'all
today.
favor each other
But
crazy. Like,
I met this
for
dude by
real.
accident. We were both supposed to facilitate separate sessions at this youth conference, and neither one of our co-facilitators came. And I think they didn't have a space for my room, and it's at Temple. How you don't have a space in the student center? But we last minute type time, right? They was like, oh, we gonna throw you in here with him, and we walk in and we both literally got on the same thing, like, and we both bald head, we both got glasses on,
Beard.
and we both hot like neon colored sneakers,
And the energy on the beam.
and we look at each other like,
But everybody kept saying,
Yeah.
yo,
Like
oh
y'all
man, I
know
thought you was Kev. I'm like, who's
Yeah,
Kev? I don't know who
right.
Kev is. Yo, Kev. Oh, yo, what's your name? I'm like, Amir.
and we
That's
get in the
wild,
joint and we
right,
get
Kev, like,
right,
Wow.
but we get in the
wild.
the
They say all black
situation.
folk look alike.
Right, but we get in the situation, and
Exhibit
a
A.
lot of you know how
That's wild.
we know the vibes because we
Right.
vibing. We know the vibe. We know the vibe because we've been vibing with each other. And I get in the room with him, and I'm like, I'm waiting for him to be like to do his thing, so I could. And it was obvious he was waiting for me to do my.
Right.
And we both just like.
And do you let me see?
Yeah, and the young boys was like waiting for us, and we was like, "What we about to do?" Because we literally had to join sessions and talk about one thing, right?
Right.
And when this dude went, I was like, "Yeah, he just like me in a way."
Uh,
I'm talking about
wild, bro.
unmatched energy in the same space. After that, I was like, "Oh yeah, I gotta know this dude, right?"
sure.
And we took the group picture and posted that, John. My little cousin was his student.
Oh, yeah, Janai.
Janaya was his student.
That rocks.
So I was like, yo, it's crazy how. But yeah, I say all that to say,
life, man.
because we always get off. But the
Right.
moment y'all get to experience fatherhood, watch the beauty in how you see the difference between you as a child and you as a father. And
I'm excited.
you should be.
Oh, man.
You
You got-
You're going to be
something to
nervous
look
at
forward
first.
to.
I ain't going to
You
lie.
got something to look forward to.
Because it's like, I always talk about my
Yeah.
little cousins. So my little cousins, Callie and Ramir, their dad passed away the year before my brother did. And they, crazy, they both got shot in the same place on a Friday night.
Oh,
and
no.
the individuals that were involved were like, they're related. So it was crazy, right? But they've been on my hips since then. Ramir was 3, Callie was 1. And till this day, it's like,
They like
what you
your
were talking
kids.
about making that time, right? Talking about making that time. Ramir told his mom, and he's named after us. So Ramir was like, man, I feel like I only see Big Mir when it's haircuts and soccer games.
Look at the cycle.
And I was
Look. I know that hit a nerve for you.
I
I know that hit a nerve for you, bro. To hit on 2 things.
I didn't even realize it
Oh,
until
my
just
God.
now.
Right,
But
right.
when
Oh,
he said it then, I was
my
like,
God.
yo, he's right.
Oh, my
Right.
God.
So then now I got to show up in other ways. But then Callie started saying, oh, Mir never comes to my games. He only goes to Mir's games. And I was like,
That's
yeah,
your
you're
situation.
right.
Entire situation.
It's completely true.
Yeah.
But it's because the age difference.
Yeah.
So the dedication was different.
Yeah.
But then now, Ramir on some other type time. So Callie's like, she'll spend the night at my house now. Now it's like, man, but I remember one time Ramir tried it. We had to have a talk because he was like, man, I wish my dad was here. I was like, yo, you right. And it's like that pressure, right? That's what I wanted to say because you have that example. And I told him, I was like, yo, your dad wasn't no slouch. Your dad and your mom were together. And your dad was a great dad because he was a great cousin. So I can only imagine. One night, Ramir tried it. Talking crazy to his mom. I said, yo, man, my man, go get your stuff. Usually that means you got to come and stay with me.
Right.
I don't got my own place anymore, so you're not going on Carol's house with the foolishness.
Right.
I'm going to drop you off in the terrace blooms or where you think you should be at. Man, you ain't my dad. Stop trying to talk to me like that. Bet.
Look.
You a stranger. Let's get busy.
Look.
And we got busy. Like, I had to. Because I'm like, yo, you're not going to disrespect me. Because
That
if your
line-
dad was here,
That
your
wouldn't
dad
have
would put
happened.
you through the wall.
Yeah.
And I just got underneath him one time, tossed him, and that was it. And I was like, yo, downstairs. I woke everybody up in the house.
How old was he?
Callie, 18?
Oh,
Yeah, you
yeah.
probably had to do that.
Oh, yeah.
I had to.
Yeah, he
Because I
tried to
told
be
him,
the
when
man,
you
man. He
get,
tried
as
to
you
be the
get
man,
older,
man.
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
going to stop doing this,
Yeah.
and it's going to be a lot more of this.
Yeah.
Like, because, bro, you got to understand, this world don't care about you.
Absolutely.
Boy, you better tell him. I
They
tell my
don't
son
care
all
about
the
you,
time.
cuz. Like, and granted, yo, you've been dealt, and I always reinforce, like, yo, I'm not saying it's easy. You've been dealt a bad hand. None of us expected that to happen.
Right.
But when he said, you don't understand, that's my dad, I said, you right. But you know what you don't understand? That was my cousin longer than he was your dad. You don't understand that your dad got shot on the same night a year later. Not the same night, but same place that my brother got shot. Like, tell me you understand that. You don't understand that nobody else showed up.
Right.
I did. Bro, you the reason why I don't got no money. You the reason why I had to get a 4-door car. Bro, I done go from broke to make sure y'all good.
Right.
And you
Real
going, and Callie, we was out at the track training. She was like, yeah, I would never say that to you. Yeah, but it's cool. Like, I expect you we gonna go through it. But we gotta go through it to get through it, right?
Right.
Because
right,
as much as my dad wasn't there, it still was like a level of respect.
No.
Yeah,
That's
Which was so
yeah.
crazy.
that's what I
Yeah.
can
There's still a
say.
level of respect, right? Like, that's why I'm like, man, I'm talking how I was talking to my pop, but right now, like, if something happened to him right now,
Right.
I lose it. I would lose it.
See, but that's the maturity inside of you, though.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
That's a lot of
yeah,
growth
yeah.
inside of you to
Yeah.
be like, I'm just going, this is who I am. I'm not going to let
Yeah.
that hinder or
That-
that
right,
hurt
right,
and that pain
right.
deter, change me from who
Right.
I am. So that's like maturity on your
Like
end
what
to
Ryan
do
said,
that.
man, it's got me thinking. Like, I want to call my pop and she's like, yo, can we have a real conversation? Because we talked about it briefly, and now he'll send text messages like your mom did.
Why not, bro?
A lot of
I
these,
say go
a
for
lot
it,
of these
bro.
conversations,
Go for it, bro.
they'll break these
Look,
dads,
life
man.
is, it ain't promised, bro.
These
So go
dads
for it.
ain't
Yeah,
ready.
for real.
Life ain't
Because-
promised. Go for it,
Here's
bro.
the
That's
thing.
what I would say,
Here's the
man.
thing. As quickly as life is moving, you would hate to miss the opportunity, right? And at the rate we going, and then at the longevity and lifespan for black men in our country, you could miss your chance,
Any day.
and it'd be you that's out before your pop.
Any day.
You know what I'm saying? And who's to say he's not waiting for that moment? He just doesn't know how to invite himself
And
into
he
it.
definitely does it.
So at some point it has to be us. right? Because
Some
I used to be the one like, man, my mom said, okay, F my dad then. You know what I'm saying? Like, but
My mom never did that.
my mom did
She
one
was like,
time.
"Look, I got
One
My
time.
mom never did it
Maturity,
either.
My mom did one
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
Maturity, bro.
She
My
was
mom
like,
never
"No,
did
no."
it.
I was like, you want me to go over there or not?
She
You
not
didn't
gonna
give me
bash
ways,
your dad
bro.
in front of you.
No,
My mom did
I'ma
one-
keep it a
but-
bean.
But let me tell you
That's
what. Let me
class,
tell.
bro.
I
I'm
learned.
telling you, that's
I
class, man.
learned in a different scenario. I would agree. I would think so, right? But I learned why my mom was so. I don't even want to say hateful, but that's what it felt like.
No, you get to get that later
But
though.
let me,
Yeah.
so I can understand now why it was always when she was upset, F that because
you gotta. Your
No.
stories-
This
I understand
so
that,
so,
bro.
so
Like,
it was
your
something, and I don't
story,
want to put
that-
I don't
yeah,
because
but-
listen, I haven't had that conversation
Yeah,
with my
but I
mom.
know,
She doesn't
but
know
you
I know that, so I
understand-
don't want
but
to
you
put that out there.
Look, but you understand.
right.
I understand why. Of
Yeah.
course she would.
What
Yeah,
I
would
so
too.
I'm saying like to this day, like so me and my daughter's mom isn't together yet, but
about
we
Yeah,
because like if we gonna
It's
be
work.
honest,
It's
right?
work. It's work.
Right.
It's work.
And if
And
we
let's
if we
keep it-
gonna
let's
be
keep it
honest,
honest.
like we both needed to do some work. We both have done the work. It'll be beneath me to ask her to do something, she do it, and then I act like she ain't do it. Right? So if this is what I say I needed to feel secure in a relationship, and you show me that,
Then that's what it
then
is.
why wouldn't I think for me, once I'm hurt, and it takes a while to get over that, and I'm learning how to navigate that. But I say that to say there would never be a time Avery would never see us on the same page.
Right.
Ever.
Oh yeah, we
See us on
taking
the same page.
family pictures. We taking
Oh yeah.
step pop.
Oh,
all of
yeah.
everybody get in.
Y'all got pictures. I don't have no pictures.
we doing a
with my
mannequin
dad.
challenge together. I don't care
Not
at this
one.
point. We
don't
got to
have
raise
not
these
one.
kids at the end
That's
of the
different.
day.
See, that's the
Dope.
mindset.
Yeah,
is different,
I don't got time for
A lot of
that.
dudes,
Yeah.
I don't mess with your mind like that, so I ain't doing nothing with nothing.
Yeah.
You talking
No.
about taking a picture with the step?
No mannequin
But I'm
challenge.
saying they ain't.
Like y'all not even digging. Like at this point, at 35, I don't got time to go back and forth and do all of that.
Right.
Yo, we
Straight up.
You know how some
Who
people
got
be
time
doing
for that?
to recreate the
Yeah, man,
photos?
for real, yeah.
They be recreating the photos with they pop. Like I saw one where the pop was standing above the son, kissing his forehead, and then the son was holding his son, kissing his forehead, and I'm like, dang, I ain't never gonna be able to do that. Like, but we don't have that, right? But I say all that to say, like, I think it's clear that even with the differences and the similarities in the way we were, in the way, I don't want to say brought up because some of us weren't, in the way we experienced our fathers and the way we have become fathers and father figures and role models and definitely dads in training, right? Like the way we have become accustomed to being so fluent at these things, man, I don't doubt at all that with our lived experiences, we won't be 100% all the way in with our children and our children to be, and with our responsibility to other people's children. Like I say to my boy's mom, and y'all heard me say sons a few times.
Yeah.
I have about 250 plus boys that I mentor, and majority of them I call sons. My oldest one is 25 years old, and I have known him since he was in 6th grade. He has been my son since 6th grade. Every time I have conversations with moms, they always refer to these kids. Kev, come get your son. Your son doing this. Your son doing. But listen. But I say to my sons, I am not here to replace your fathers. No matter what your relationships are with your dad. Like they could be trash. They can be half in, half out. I'm not here to replace them. I'm not here to be your dad.
Right.
I'm here to fill the void you feel like you're missing in the relationship that you may or may not already have.
Right.
And then when I do meet fathers, I say thank you for giving me the opportunity to be some type of influence to your son. One of my dudes, he's been my boy since 4th grade. I met his pop for the first time, his prom senior year.
Wow.
And the dad said to me, "Hey, yo, I heard a lot about you, Kev." Like, and I'm in my brain, I'm like, it took you to now to want to know who I am.
You're like, come on, man.
Like,
my son
could go
can't say.
on, man. I don't be
My
wanting to
son
go
can't
on.
say any man name
Because
without me
you just
saying,
that type of dad.
"Well, who's ball?"
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
It's just not happening.
Stand.
My son can't say
Stand.
nobody. All right. He cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stand
But
for that.
I gotta know.
That's how I'm
you
like
hype
that
about?
too. Yeah, for real. And let me meet this
Because now I
dude.
got to do it.
Yeah, let me meet
You
this
feel
dude.
me?
And that just goes to say, like,
Damn that.
we get back to the village mindset. Like, Ryan just said he know his son can't say nobody's name, no other man's name without him being inquisitive, right? But once he know the dude is solid, now that dude can be a part of his son's village.
Right,
Like,
sure.
I
Right.
welcome you into this village, but be very clear.
Right.
I'm the one who makes
Absolutely.
the decision.
No,
Like,
for
you
sure.
consult
Know
with
it.
me until he's old enough to make his own decisions.
That's for sure.
But he consults with me
Let
even
him
when
know
he's
it.
old enough to make it.
him know
You
it.
feel what I'm saying? So is that village concept, and I think in some way, shape, or form, we're kind of getting back to that because we have people willing to relinquish. I don't even want to say relinquish full power and responsibility, but allow other people to be in support of how they raise their children, right? And that was always a struggle for black men, particularly black men who were absent. They hate to know that they would rather their children go without than for another man to pick up the pieces.
That is ridiculous.
And that's
to
the
me.
the hurtful part. But so yeah, did anybody have anything else to add before I get into the minute to be, because we've been over the time and I want to keep y'all, and then I got to do something. But
All right. So, I wanted to say something before it was all over.
okay, yeah, go.
Me and my dad cool.
In case this goes viral,
No, I'm just keeping it a being. Like,
Right,
me
yeah,
and my
yeah.
dad don't have a
Yeah.
bad relationship.
Right.
Him and my mom broke up. Y'all already know what that means.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, we not
Right.
about to sugarcoat it or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, when they break up, for whoever at fault, whatever the case may be, y'all know what's up. Like,
right.
you know what I mean? And naturally, we grew up in these neighborhoods where the kids stay with the mom, or ain't, you know what I mean? That's how it was. So it wasn't even no thought of where we was going, none of that.
Yeah.
The dynamics happened the way it happened. That's life. You know what I mean? But me and my dad got a good relationship. He still is around for whatever I need when it comes to music. He probably the most knowledgeable person I know in music. You know what I mean? He got connections or whatever. So we still connect through that way, or whenever we go over to chill, whatever. So I just want everybody to know that. We good. You know what I mean? But on top of that,
Disclaimer.
too- No, disclaimer, for
That's
sure.
my pop, and I'm
No,
gonna
for
sit
sure,
beside him.
For sure. Another thing I'm about to say about Pops, because we got this notion that you gotta have all this money with your kid. But I think that we gotta do better as a society, as a community, as the moms, to not make the things that they to buy the thing that makes them a dad. Because a lot of the fathers run from the heaviness of not being able to do. Some people probably can't even get their kid an ice cream cone. So understand that for them to be a father in this society, you not living up to the standard if you can't get your daughter an ice cream cone. Now I'm hoping that nobody serious about ice cream cone. But you understand what I'm saying? Like,
that time,
it get
man.
tight like that.
It
You
does.
might not can't
Time
get.
with
It-
them,
right,
man.
right.
Like,
Yeah.
you spend you
That
gotta
means
spend
more than
time,
anything.
man.
And a father got to fight through that also, because that's your own insecurities. You have nothing to, your child have nothing to do with your insecurity. Your child wants you to show up. You know what I mean? So that got to be something that we talk about. And we got to hold each other accountable and the moms accountable to make sure that the materialistic things is not what is making you a dad, because the time spent is what make you a father or dad, whatever. My man.
Go boop 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 boop. That's my guy. Hold on, y'all. I want to do something real quick. Watch this. Hey, son. Oh.
Being available.
Hello.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, what's going on, man?
You asleep?
No, I'm just laying down.
Late? Would you work today?
Yeah, I had to work. Yeah.
You old man, Dad. Look.
Yes, sir.
Do you want to hear something?
What?
You on my show, Dad.
I'm on your show.
Yeah, I got you
I'm
on my
on
show.
your
You
show.
talking to me while I'm on my show.
Okay. What's
The-
going on?
No. No, we was here. Today's conversation was about, fatherhood and our experiences with our dads and stuff, and I kind of shared a little bit about, our experience, like how it was and then how it transformed and stuff. And I just thought I would call you, bro, and tell you I love you and I appreciate you, Dad. Like, you didn't have to be honest with me about what you shared with me that time I wrote you the letter, right? And then I think that's what made things transformative in our relationship. And I was kind of sharing that with my brothers here, and I, I wanted to share a moment with my dad.
All right, man. I really appreciate it, man. Yeah. no matter what my shortcomings were, I got an amazing son. So, you know what I'm saying? That's great. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad we coming to a point that we can see eye to eye. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Dad.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? You know, but I love you with all my heart, man. You know,
Can you be
always
my
have.
dad? I don't have no dad, yo.
Yeah, man, but I just took me time to grow into learning how to be a father, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. I'm proud of you as a father, as a man. Amazing things you got going on. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still waiting to come to Philly, though.
Yeah, we gonna get you here, Dad. We gonna get you here.
All right, that's good. That sounds good. Yeah, you're right. I am getting old.
It's all right, man. It's okay. But yeah, that's what I wanted, Pop.
All right, man. Look,
I don't want-
appreciate you calling me, man. Y'all, hey, look, you and your brothers, man, keep pushing, man. If I could speak, you know what I'm saying, for about my dramas in my life, at any time y'all need me, just give me a call, man. I'll be there.
Got you, Pop. I appreciate you. All right. Now go watch your westerns. I love you too.
All right, I love you too.
All right.
Yeah.
That's thorough.
So I'm gonna take that moment, right, and I'm gonna get right into this minute to be, right? Today, the minute to be is simple. Be willing to move forward regardless of what the experience was for you. Understand that every experience isn't always going to be the best, but every experience is always going to teach you something valuable to take into the next phase of your life. So be willing. Be willing to just, go with it. And then as you're going with it, use those moments to transform your thought so that your actions follow that. And you're not holding on to stuff. And you're not robbing yourself of the most authentic experience you could have as a man, be it one who has had a great relationship with your dad or has failed to have a relationship with your dad. I'm trying not to get choked up because I didn't expect my dad to say that. I mean, he won't go come up here and talk trash, but I'm your minute to be is that. And if at any time you forget the power you possess to just be, rely on your brothers. Look at the people around you who have shared experiences, who have been a part of supporting you, making it past where you mentally saw yourself, stuck or halted because of these experiences with what my dad didn't teach me, right? Be willing to be your own man outside of that man you thought you needed your dad to create. And yeah, just be you, be your man, right? Be the best version of yourself that you can be, so much so that no matter the role your father played in your life, it's highlighted that you are your individual self. And you have given yourself power and permission to just be available, be present, be aware, be truthful, be honest, be loyal, be loved, be emotional if you feel like it, right? And just be, because you need that. The soul needs it, right? And yeah, today's conversation was the soundtrack for the soul for me. I question a lot of things in life, but one thing I know for certain, I am a flipping amazing father. And that's because I've allowed my experience as a son to allow me to view myself differently as a father. And I allowed that to take me where I needed to be. Avery would never know what it's like to not have a dad around. And I don't blame my dad for that. He did the best he could with what he had. Right. And yeah, so today I'm able to be, and I'm not afraid to say this out loud, because he wasn't. And there's a level of comfort and security in that. I thank God every day for who I am able to be, right? And y'all heard him say it, like, he may not have been all that he could have been, but he feel like he got an amazing son. Y'all know how good that feels to hear from the person you blamed for a lot of your shortcomings? Man, listen, y'all better be out here in these streets. Like, that don't mean be in the streets. Y'all see these kids. Don't do the crate challenge.
Don't do the crate challenge.
But no, I really, 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 really want you to hear that, though. Just be. Whatever that means for you, just be. I thank y'all so much. And Vince
Appreciate
laughing
you,
because they
brother.
got
No.
the
Finish
parent.
it, no. Nope. I'm not going there. Nope. Can't do it. This ain't
Wait,
it.
hold on.
No.
They
No.
just-
Sign, no, sign out,
All
Clarence.
right,
No,
yo.
bro, I'm not going
So
with you on
I
that.
appreciate y'all for being here
We
today.
taking this offline.
Sign out, bro.
We taking it
I
offline.
appreciate y'all for being here today. For you guys who are watching, like, subscribe to the channel B on YouTube because the soul needs a soundtrack. I don't know where this thing gonna go, but I feel really good about today's conversation. So I appreciate y'all.
And
Solid
it's just the
brothers for
beginning
being
of
here.
many.
I hope so, man.
And
If
not
E
only
move,
just
I'm
us.
going wherever she go because I ain't letting nobody else do my stuff but her.
No,
But
not only just us, but people gonna start having these conversations.
they need to, and if not,
know?
and it may be us who invite them
healthy,
into it,
bro.
you
This
know,
is healthy.
absolutely,
No, for sure.
Soul, man.
absolutely. So, yo, that's episode 4. Thank you for being here. Till next time, America.